This episode is brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, to check you have the tickets in your wallet first before you drive 2 hours to the big game. Seriously, you had one job. Now the closest you'll get to the 50-yard line is parking lot D. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
It feels like you can get your credit scores anywhere these days. Random websites, card statements, budgeting apps, heck, even your dog might bark out a few numbers. It's true. Credit Karma isn't the only place you can find them. But we actually do more with your scores to help you find your next financial opportunity. Like a more rewarding credit card, a game plan that helps you pay down debt faster, or a personal loan to help you save more on interest payments each month. Cha-ching! The possibilities are kinda endless. Download Intuit Credit Karma today to get started.
We say all the time that football is a simple game that's oftentimes complicated by coaches. And I think that you can go down that rabbit hole in the bye week of all the extra stuff that you can put in and getting ahead. And we don't think that way. We trust the work that we put in its normal game week, Monday through Thursday, to prepare for a Friday game.
This week's National Coach of the Week, presented by Modern Football Technology, is Ben Reaves Jr., the head coach of the Milton High School Eagles, the 2023 Georgia 6A state champion. Milton is currently ranked number 1 in Georgia and number 3 in the country by Max Preps. The Eagles are into a bye week after a big road win over a well-coached Gainesville High School program. Milton has won 18 straight games plus 27 straight wins in their region dating back to 2017. Coach Reaves joins us to discuss how they balance strategically putting the pedal down with their team and knowing when to ease up and value rest. Stay tuned for our Winning Edge takeaway following the episode. Be sure to visit our presenting sponsor, Modern Football Technology. Take a listen to what Folsom High School defensive coordinator Jordan Ersick has to say about Modern Football Technology and how they use it in season.
They basically provide analytical services in game through their platform to get coaches data in real time, not just the historical data you're carrying over from Huddle. It made a huge positive impact on me as an offensive play caller because I had data in my ear through the headset with the guy that was running it. And at halftime, when I could actually get my eyes on it, that was just huge for us to be able to win a couple tough football games in a program that hasn't won a lot of football games in the past. Broke a record for wins this year. And I think Modern Football Technology as a platform for us was definitely a big part of us winning some of those games because we got touchdowns in situations where we needed touchdowns. And that was driven by the data on that platform.
Think about using Modern Football Technology as you make the playoff push. They are out of the box and user-friendly so that you can implement that very easily while you are in season now. And if you're wrapping things up, get more out of your data and analytics with Modern Football Technology. The link is in the show notes.
Feel your max with Brooks Running and the all-new Ghost Max 2. They're the shoes you deserve, designed to streamline your stride and help protect your body. Treat yourself to feel-good landings on an ultra-high stack of super comfy nitrogen-infused cushion that takes the edge off every step, every day. The Brooks Ghost Max 2. You know, technically, they're a form of self-care. Brooks, let's run there. Head to brooksrunning.com to learn more.
This is definitely my favorite episode of the week, our National Coach of the Week. And this week, we're recognizing Ben Reaves and the Milton Eagles. They've had an outstanding season so far, 8-0 on the season, number 3 in the nation, ranked by Max Preps, number 1 in their state of Georgia, 37th straight region win going back to 2017, and they've won 18 straight games. And excited to have Coach Reaves back. He was on our Champion Series this past off season. We'll link that in the show notes. So Coach Reaves, first of all, thank you for coming back and taking the time, and congratulations on being honored as our National Coach of the Week.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me back on. Definitely a huge honor to be back with you guys and be recognized. And want to make sure I do my justice of recognizing all the good players and good coaches that we have here that even made this possible. So many people put in a lot of hard work just to get us to where we're at today. I give the plan and the resources and keep the train moving. And there's so many guys out there, like I said, doing the dirty job and making the big play calls. So I want to make sure that they get recognized for this as well.
Coach, in any season, knowing the times to push your team, the times to pull back is very important. You know, we can't put the pedal to the metal in August and expect to keep it down every single day along the way. So it's striking that balance. And you guys have had a very tough schedule at times this past week going into Gainesville. I told you before we got started, I was watching Coach Niblett and some of the social media on their side. I mean, definitely did a good job of creating a hostile environment for you, and they're doing a good job over there and building that program. So this is a big win to go into Gainesville and get that W. But as I said, looking at your season, finding that balance along the way, you guys, you know, the plan is to play into December. And when you're starting back in late July, August, the expectation can't be that you're going to grind every single day, that it is about striking a balance and how much you're putting on these guys, knowing when to strategically pull back. So we'd love to hear your approach to that.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in the we got to get 1% better every single day mindset. We just want to get better every day that we're here. But also, too, I think that you can get better just with some rest and relaxation. You don't necessarily have to be at the football facility to get better as a player and as a team, because rest is such a huge component of being your best. But we just try to make sure that we push the guys hard when we're here, and we give them rest whenever we can. And we always start out the season pushing them pretty hard because we start out with a very, very tough national non-region schedule. And there's just a lot of prep work that has to be done at the beginning of the year to get ready to play a football game in general. So they're generally pushed pretty hard. And then anytime that we're on a bye week, which we're on one right now, and we had one previously in the year, we don't do a whole lot. This week gave them Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off. We'll lift a day, we'll practice a day, and that's essentially it. And a lot of that just goes back to us having confidence in all of the work that we do in the summer and all the work that we do leading up to now to be able to give them that time off, and ultimately just making sure that football practice is something that they want to come to, not something that they have to come to, because they are kids and there's a bunch of stuff that they want to go out and do off the football field. So just to keep them energetic and entertained from August through December presents its challenges, and we really flow somewhat with our schedule. We'll teeter back a little bit in some of the games where we feel like we're a heavy favorite. We may give the starters a little bit of a break in practice and cut the time that they're going on the field. Of course, still making sure that we get the necessary work in. But then you look at weeks where we got to push it. Last week going into Gainesville, we knew that we were going into a hostile environment. We knew that we were playing a top-tier team, a team that was going to challenge us in all three phases. So we asked the starters, like, hey, we're going to need you to run the scout cars this week. You're going to have to be the scout team, and you're going to have to prepare the other unit, and then you're going to have to go get some water and come back, and they're going to run the scout cars at you. And it was a tough week because of that, a lot of reps. But as long as you do that sparingly, as long as you communicate why you're doing that, the kids will buy into it, and they'll benefit from it. And when you go out and play clean and play a good game on Friday night in a tough environment, they see that there are rewards to the hard work they put in, and they're more likely to do it again for you down the road.
Would love to hear a little bit about the approach to bye week. When you have that week, no game at the end of the week, there can be that tendency to think, well, we can get ahead on a few things. We can add some wrinkles here. Hey, we haven't been playing great, so we can grind a little bit more this week because there is no game at the end of the week. And that's not always the most productive approach to it. We'd love to hear how you guys go about a bye week and what that week looks like for you in the time that you're spending with your players, you're working as a staff, and especially out on the field.
Yeah, I mean, it's different every year, and a lot of it is just a read the room approach or read the room mindset, just figuring out each year where each team is at during that given bye week. A lot of it has to do with the health of the team. There's times to where the guys just need rest or we're banged and bruised. And I know if we have practice, they're going to go out there and push it when they probably shouldn't. So just reading the room and the current status of everyone is the main thing. But we say all the time that football is a simple game that's oftentimes complicated by coaches. And I think that you can go down that rabbit hole in the bye week of all the extra stuff that you can put in and getting ahead. And we don't think that way. We trust the work that we put in a normal game week, Monday through Thursday, to prepare for a Friday game. So to think that we need extra or got to have extra the week prior is just not anything that I've ever really been a part of. We'll use the bye week, like I said, to rest and heal. We'll make sure that we lift. We'll make sure that we get some conditioning in. And then just use it for good fundamental football. Make sure that we're going back and doing some of those day one of spring tackling drills and blocking drills. And we'll review our end of game stuff. We'll review maybe some special situations or things that have come up in a game throughout the year where there was some potential confusion or why is something called this way. So just use it to clean up necessarily more so than to push ahead. And it's important for the coaches too, because we're away from our families so much that it's a great week for everyone to go home after school and hang out with the kids if that's what they have, or just rest themselves, take a weekend off. So like I said, it just goes back to trusting what we do in a normal game week, trusting the work that we've put in all summer, and trusting that we did a good job with those things. And we're going to do a good job next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, preparing for next Friday's game. So you don't feel the pressure of necessarily having to do extra and do more during this bye week.
Turns out, a delightfully clean home can make for a delightful start to the day. At Mrs. Meyer's, everything we make is inspired by the garden. With plant-derived and other thoughtfully chosen ingredients, our cleaning products smell like a dream and work like the Dickens, leaving your home sparkly clean and your to-do list tackled in no time. Goodness, there's no better feeling than that. Mrs. Meyer's, rooted in goodness. Visit mrsmeyers.com today.
Whether you're ordering wings for the game, whipping up a 7-layer dip, or ordering pizza, there's something about football that makes you want to eat. And this football season, Uber Eats has the best deals on game day food. No matter what you're craving, from 2-for-1 pizza to buy one, get one wings, Uber Eats will be dropping new deals each week, all season long. Uber Eats, official on-demand delivery partner of the NFL. Order now. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
So let's talk a little bit about the other side of this, knowing when to start to put the pedal down a little bit. A couple more weeks here, the regular season for you, and then we're into that playoff push. We're into that drive to the playoffs to get all the way to that state championship game again in December. Of course, it's not always the same way you would put the pedal down in August at the beginning of the season. So what does it look like for you guys as you start to get into these last weeks of the regular season and then getting into the postseason and in the playoffs? And again, that balance that you guys are looking for.
Yeah, it goes back to just truly evaluating your current status as a team. When we're out there playing in a game, are we getting fatigued? Are we getting tired? Are our fundamentals lacking? And if so, then you probably need to push them a little bit, because that means you've probably taken too much rest time, especially if you're getting fatigued and tired. And then, like I said previously, it's opponent driven. There's times to where we feel like we're going to show up and play an opponent, and the speed of the game is going to be something that's going to take some getting used to. The speed of the game is going to be something that our normal scout team can't simulate for us. And at that point, that's when the team collectively has to agree that we're going to push it this week, and we're going to give each other the best look possible, a lot of best on best, so that whenever Friday comes, there's not an adjustment period. Sometimes when you play a close game, if you have a couple series, it's an adjustment period and points are scored or lack thereof. That could be the difference in a close game. So like I said, just really evaluating where you're at with your current team and what you're seeing from them on the field in terms of, are we in a good spot just from a football conditioning and fundamental standpoint? And then just knowing, who do I have coming up? There's weeks where the work is just the work. And whether you're tired or not, you got to put in the work to get the reward you want on Friday. So just making sure to evaluate both those things closely. And like you said, that'll be more important just as this season gets closer and closer to the end.
You brought up doing some good on good there, and I don't know the science behind it or that there was any way we would think about that, but I think we all know you go out there sometimes in that game, and with what you've been seeing all week from the scout team, there's maybe a half a quarter where you are, as you mentioned, adjusting to that speed of the game. Your scout team's not running it the same way, especially if things maybe are a little bit different, not running it the same way as what you're seeing on game day. Would love to understand a little bit more about the approach you take with the good on good. Is that both of you guys are just going to run what you run and what you're planning for that game, or is there a servicing each other aspect of how you go about those good on good periods?
Yeah, so there's two different models that we use. One is called team compete, and it's just our offense and our scheme versus our defense and their scheme. And I'll give a situation. Hey, it's 1st and 10. And we got to get a first down right here. All fourth down is a punt, no matter what. Y'all play ball, and the losing unit, you got up downs. You have a punishment. So we call that team compete. And we'll use different scenarios throughout the year, throughout practice with that. We may do 1 or 2 of those a week. And then what I previously described that we went to Gainesville week is truly the first offense being the offensive scout team. So that first offense is running Gainesville's cards against our first defense, trying to score on them, just like Gainesville is going to do. And then we flip it over and our defense will run the cards. And we'll do that for 3 or 4 rounds per practice. And the crucial part is just making sure that the kids understand, first and foremost, protect the team. Definitely, we're full speed, mixing it up in the box, making sure that our blocking schemes are on point and we're getting after each other in the box. And then just making sure we're at a thud tempo and we understand what thud means, and we understand that nobody should go to the ground in thud. And then just making sure that on the second and third level, any type of passes or deep balls, we can cover, we can stay in phase, but there doesn't necessarily have to be any big-time collisions or even any big-time thuds downfield. It's just a matter of seeing the route coming at you, running the route full speed, staying in phase, making the catch, more so than the tackle downfield. So just making sure they understand the rules of practice and how to practice. And if there ever is any doubt of what I should do, first and foremost, always protect the team, always protect the guy in front of me.
When you're using a lot of those 1-versus-1 scout type situations, how do you get your younger guys the reps those particular weeks?
Unfortunately, they don't get as many reps. And it's just one of those things about being a younger guy. And luckily, we'll have a JV game, so they'll still get to participate in a JV game on Thursdays. But those tend to be more boring weeks for the younger guys, and we push them. If you want more reps, then get in that top 1 or 2. But it's just, especially when we have 90 kids on our team, 10th through 12th, there's just not work for everybody every single week. But it's just what we have to do, and it's just part of it, and it's what's best for the team, and they understand that. And if there is any periods to where we can get everybody in, they're ready to go. If not, then they just stay ready until called upon.
Yeah, I'm sure in some ways too. We talked about pulling back for the team overall. I think we all remember back to like those sophomore days where that might be welcomed by those guys too, that every single week they're not out there, even though they get those JV games, not out there having to bang around with guys who are older and bigger than them. So it probably in some ways is a little bit of a deload period for those guys too.
For sure. Definitely some much needed rest and well-deserved rest for those guys that do the scout team every single week. That's a great point.
Coach, I really appreciate you taking time here during the season. Congratulations again to you, your staff, your team on being named our National Coach of the Week, and best of luck to you and the Eagles the rest of the way here in 2024.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for the recognition and for letting me talk a little bit of Milton football. Appreciate all that you guys do for the sport and for coaches as well.
Here's our winning edge takeaway from our conversation with Coach Reaves. I think the biggest thing we get out of this one is knowing when to strike the balance between putting the pedal down and easing up on your players is appropriate. There's going to be those times where you have to get out and grind. You have to do those things, but finding that balance so that ultimately whatever you do, you're freshest on game day, you're most prepared on game day is the best thing to do. I really liked what he had to say about utilizing at times those 1-versus-1 periods in a particular week and knowing that, hey, this might be a chance for our younger guys to take a step back, get a little break from being out there all week long, banging against those more experienced, faster, stronger, bigger varsity players. So a lot that you can take away from this one as you prepare for the playoffs. Be sure to check out our partners, Vertical Raise, for your fundraising needs, Modern Football Technology for analytics and in-game decision-making, and Signature Championship Rings when you win the championship this year. Links and information to all of our partners can be found in the description and on coachandcoordinator.com in our 10% toolkit. Follow us on X at Coach K. Grabowski.